What's up, Bulldog Nation? My name is Sean Sloat, math teacher and wrestling coach. Welcome to my open house video. This year, I'm teaching Algebra 1, Geometry, and Geometry Honors. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and a little bit about those classes. So let's start out with a little bit about myself. I graduated from the University of Rhode Island with a degree in electrical engineering and a minor in mathematics. I actually worked as an electrical engineer for 7 years first for a company in Shelton, and I got to travel all over the country. So that was a lot of fun. I then started coaching and I became a math teacher in 2015. I have 4 kids of my own, 1 boy, 3 girls. My son is Dustin, who's 12, and then my 3 daughters. Ember is 5, Iceland is 3, and Arokai is 1. I'm also the head wrestling coach at Bunnell, and I've been that since 2015. As for grading, the grade for the semester and the final grade is made up of 3 basic components. The day-to-day stuff is made up of the classwork and homework. So these are the classwork assignments that the students will work on during class and finish it up outside of class if they didn't finish it during class. That's 30%. And then you've got your quizzes, which are every 1 to 2 weeks. That's 45%. And then the big one, the test, there's usually 1 test every marking period, maybe 2. That makes up 25% of the final grade. I'm very good about keeping Power School up to date. So I urge you to check that frequently and reach out to me with any questions or concerns on that. For assignments, every assignment can be found in Google Classroom. Some assignments might require the student to attach a separate page of work before submitting the assignment. Some will just be a Google form that has to be submitted. Some will be a Google slide. Some might give directions to go use an additional online platform, but everything can be found in Google Classroom, and I keep it organized by unit, and it's kept up to date daily. Flipped Math is an online platform that we'll be using for most of our notes and a lot of the practice problems we're going to be doing. What's nice about Flipped Math is there's videos that allow the student to work at their own pace and go through the video, rewind if they need to, and kind of learn independently while I'm there to help out as needed. And then there's practice problems that go right along with the notes that they took from the video. Delta Math is another online platform that we're going to be using a lot. And we're going to use that to really kind of hone the skills that they're developing and really give them the additional practice that they need to get really good at what they're learning. Desmos and Khan Academy will be used to supplement additional problems and additional practice as needed. Since this is a different time and we're using distance learning, there's some protocols that we've set up just to make sure everyone is set up for success. So we're using Zoom, and the Zoom links for every class can be found right in the Google Classroom. They're always in the same place. It's the same link that's used for every class. So in Google Classroom, underneath the classwork tab, there's a topic called Zoom links right at the top. And that's where the Zoom links are found. So I strongly urge you to make sure you're on time, make sure the students are on time. What I do for my classes is I check everybody in right in the beginning, and then I'll often share my screen and my smartboard as I go through the lesson. So if a student is late, then I may not see them right away if I'm going through the lesson and sharing my screen, and I hate for them to miss part of it if they're late. So please try to make sure you're on time. At home, make sure you have a workstation set up. It just helps you to get into that learning mentality and again make sure that you're set up for success. If you're just using, a different random spot every time you're setting up, it kind of makes it hard to get into a routine. So try to set up a workstation at home. And even though you're at home, you're still going to be on camera. And so please make sure you're wearing appropriate school clothes. And as a general rule, I usually tell students to stay on mute. But obviously, if I'm going through a lesson, then they should just unmute themselves and shout out any questions that they have. So I tell them that often. So, but generally, keep it on mute just so we don't get all the background noise from everyone's house. Given the circumstances, we're not offering in-person extra help physically at the school, but I offer extra help through Google Meets, and this can be requested through email. Typically, if you can email me before 2 p.m., then I'll usually be able to do a Google Meet that same day. After 2 p.m., then we can usually set up a Google Meet for the following day. So the earlier in the day you can email me, the more likely we'll be able to get something set up that same day. So you just have to email me and just ask if we can set up a Google Meet, and I'm more than happy to do that. And be advised that there may be times when I may set up Google Meets with more than one student, especially if it's the day before a test or quiz, for example, and I may have many students looking for extra help. So I may group students together that are in the same class or taking the same class. My email, sloats@stratk12.org. I'm looking forward to having a great year. I think communication is going to be very important this year, especially. So I strongly advise, just reach out to me. Don't hesitate to reach out to me with any questions or concerns.